Joining us now live from Milwaukee at the Fiserv Arena is the senator from the state of North Dakota, the Republican Kevin Cramer. Senator Cramer, thanks for being back with us here on the Hill. You just ran to the camera. We appreciate your time, sir. So, Nikki Haley speaking tonight, Senator. She got 4.3 million votes in the primary process. She got 20% of all the votes cast. What do you want to hear from Nikki Haley tonight? And how much do you think the Trump campaign and the RNC should court her, and what should that look like?
Well, first of all, politics, if you're going to be successful, is all about addition. And who wouldn't want several million votes that somebody else has received? And so I would expect a full-throated endorsement. I would expect that she's going to make a call for unity, that she's going to throw her support entirely behind Donald Trump, because we are at a binary choice, and anybody that supported Nikki Haley in the primaries certainly should be supporting Donald Trump in the general election. And I think the timing's great. I think what Ambassador Haley can do, though, is she can accelerate that transition from her supporters becoming Donald Trump supporters simply by giving a powerful speech tonight.
You talk about addition, Senator. Let's talk about subtraction for a second, because the three vice presidential finalists, one was from your state, your governor, Doug Burgum.
Yes.
Are you disappointed at all that he wasn't the pick?
I am disappointed. I was behind him all the way, and I did my best to encourage the president to choose him. I posted things publicly and sent things to him privately. I was a strong advocate for Governor Burgum, but we don't have time to look backwards now. We have to look forward. J.D. Vance is a fine pick. He's a good choice. I think in terms of addition, he helps us with younger conservatives, and sometimes they can feel disenfranchised in a party. We need those younger people.
What was that pitch like to the president? Were you involved? We hear that there was sort of like a final hours scramble for everyone pitching their folks. What was your pitch like?
My pitch was that he's got way too much to offer and to provide than to just put him in a cabinet secretary position. But, given his operational abilities as an executive, given his vast knowledge of energy policy, the fact that he ran a major international company and sold it to a more major international company, ran a successful state, understands capital formation, energy policy, environmental regulation, financial regulations. I just, we're making the pitch down the stretch that he could help settle the anxieties of much of corporate America and Wall Street. It didn't turn out that way. He can still play a role, I believe, both in the campaign and the administration, and I hope he does.
All right. Let me ask you this, Senator, because the focus tonight in part is going to be illegal immigration, which, as we know, is one of the biggest issues in this country right now. The White House has put out new numbers in which they say that since the president's executive actions, that border encounters are down 29% since May. I do not think it's coincidental that they put those numbers out today when Republicans are going to be talking about this issue tonight. But I wonder if you think the president's plan is working at all.
Oh, I don't think it is working. What's working is that it's now the heat of summer, and immigration always comes down in the heat of summer. But trying to take credit for it's a little bit like starting the building on fire and then taking credit for putting most of it out or some of it out. He is irredeemable in terms of his reputation on the border. Because he spent 3.5 years telling us he couldn't do anything through executive order, that he was powerless to fix the border. And then lo and behold, now he's trying to take credit for, quote, fixing the border after he opened it wide open for 10 million people to cross illegally, for many of them to be criminals. That it seems like every other day now we hear about another illegal immigrant who killed an American citizen. And not to mention the fentanyl that they brought across that is killing young people all across our country. I think it's a pretty tough case for Joe Biden and the Biden administration to make, and frankly, I think it's a desperation.
All right, Senator Cramer, again, thank you for running to the camera for us. We got to leave it there. Thank you for watching, and make sure you go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.